Mm. Mm. Hey! Hi, what's up? Sorry about that. I really just came in and gave me a candy bar, which is very nice of him. Anyway, how you doing, people? It's me, Solseth, and welcome back to Higurashi. Um, I'm sorry had to end the last episode. I just felt like freaking washed, just bleh kind of feeling going on. Ever get that? Just kind of, I don't know. I guess I was just hungry or something, because like right after I just ate something, I felt better. But this stuff happens. Anyway, let me just finish doing something really quick. Just gotta do it. Um, but hey, before we start, I gotta ask you, how you guys feeling today? Feeling good? Feeling bad? What's up? What's going down? You know, the simple thrills of life got us going. It's got us going. Got us going. Got us going. You know. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah. Anyway, but you know, I'm going to continue reading, and we're going to have a good time. And hopefully everything goes really chill and really cool. Much like cool chili. Alright? Oh, let me just turn the volume up on my headset here. Chat activating. Let's just continue from where we left off. And this here. And load. Rena stopped me when I tried to get out of bed. She said it would aggravate my wounds, so I should sleep. Okay. I'd like to go to the bathroom, though.
Sorry.
Rena couldn't say anything else. Yeah, you can't stop me because of my bladder. When Rena stayed in the room, I quickly went downstairs to get the phone receiver in the living room. When I approached the front door, the doorbell rang. Ding dong. Ding dong. You get it. It must have been the doctor Rena had called. It was strange for a patient to welcome in a doctor who was making a house call, but it would be incredibly reassuring to have him here for the considerable time it would take Oishi-san to get here. I carelessly opened the door with the simple assumption and regretted it almost instantly. Mion. Oh, you look just fine. I heard you collapse, so I came to check up on you. How did you know I collapsed? I heard it from Rena over the phone. Do I need any reason other than that? I understood why she would call a doctor. But why Mion too? Because she's her friend. Rena was descending the stairs behind me. Rena, doesn't Ki-chan look pretty alright? Sheesh, you made me worry for nothing.
That's true. Maybe I was worried for nothing as well.
both began laughing. It appeared to be cheerful laughter, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was a darkness looming over them. Whoa! What's up the shoe rack? How did it get like this? The shoe rack that I'd smashed to pieces has been like that since yesterday. I fell, you see. And that bat I was holding at the time slammed into it. This is what happens when you swing around something you're not used to handling. I kept the fact that it was none of her business to myself.
But leaving it like this will really startle your parents when they get home. I'll fix it up for you later.
Now, come on, Ki-chan. The terminally ill need their rest. Come, back in bed, back in bed. Hey, what up, chat members? Both of them urged me up the stairs. I had no chance to call Oishi-san. I was pushed into my bed. As it was the first time Mion had been in my room, she began searching around it intently. She filled around my room and was scolded by Rena. You can imagine how it went. It was uncomfortable having my room poked around, but the conversation was so benign that it was heartwarming. During that innocent conversation, Mion said something as tough as though it was perfectly ordinary.
Rena, did you call the manager? Yep. Right after I called Michan. He said he'd be right over.
Manager? That out-of-place word gave me a bad feeling. When I called a doctor, then Mion. After that, called a manager? Who's the manager? Since Rena and Mion's conversation was so peaceful, it only felt slightly odd. What are you two talking about? Who's this manager?
Didn't you know, Ki-chan? We mean the manager when we say the manager. Like the director of a movie. Or like a foreman of a construction site.
That's uncomfortably long. I dug through all of my memories of a manager who might have business with me. Only one thing came to mind. What Rena had just said. The construction site foreman? The first victim of the first incident? Oh, come on, don't start thinking too deeply. The dismemberment at the damn construction site. The foreman? But that was strange. He was supposed to be dead. It's not like that. She was just giving examples of what a manager was. Don't start thinking that way, boy. But that was strange. He's supposed to be dead. There was no way you could call him. I don't understand. What are you guys talking about? What does the manager have to do with me? He said he was coming. Do you mean to my house? I asked one obvious question after another. But all the two of them did was smile coolly at each other. There was a huge difference between how the two of them appeared and how my suspicions were playing out. Slowly, I felt discomfort and panic welling up inside me. I couldn't understand what Rena and Mion were talking about.
Ki-chan, you've gotten into baseball lately, haven't you? Pretty sure the manager will be happy to hear that.
So, who is this manager?
The manager is the manager.
So, who is this manager? Like, what's their name? Oh, wow, this is uncomfortably long. Rena and Mion looked at each other and laughed haughtily. This disturbing cackle unpleasantly resounded around me. That's such a long and unnecessary laugh. That laugh, long enough to be unsettling, ended abruptly.
Oh yeah, we should finish up before the manager comes. You remember, don't you, Ki-chan?
Her face was laughing, but Mion's eyes told a different story. Remember? Remember what?
Ha 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 ha, Ki-chan had he forgotten, I wonder? About the penalty?
About the
Penalty? Did you forget? The homework with the Moochie? The homework where you were supposed to guess which one Rena made? You forgot about the homework, didn't you?
I certainly did have that homework. But I had thrown away the rest of the mushi after I found the sewing needle. So I wasn't able to answer which one Rena had made. The penalty for what? Why now? Ha 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 ha. It's very kind of terrifying. Gotta be honest. Kind of spooky. Gotta say, it's kind of giving you that cold tingling going up and down your spine. No doubt my question was written all over my face. Their answer to my question was that dry laughter. Mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, mm, mm. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. I could no longer make heads or tails of anything. I began to think that this entire day was somehow insane. Strange. Incomprehensible. Being chased by Rena, attacked by strange men, the penalty Mia and Rena were talking about. Yeah, it's all kind of weird. Ah ha 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 ha. What were these two laughing at? It didn't take that long for me to realize I had been dragged into an abnormal situation. Who were these two? Who were these people? Who were these doppelgangers of Rena and Mion? Oh fuck. Rena got behind me at some point. Why was she pinning my arms behind my back? What are you doing? Don't move.
Don't move. This is your penalty.
My body was already sluggish, and Rena pinning my arms made it that much harder to move. I seriously tried to struggle, but she wouldn't even budge. My panic began to well up, and I realized this was well beyond the realm of jokes and pleasantries. 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 Sorry, I have to open up the chat again. I keep on forgetting to do that, though. Alright. The freakishly monstrous strength it would have been. This freakishly monstrous strength. It would have been impossible for Rena that I knew. For the Rena that I knew. Then these thin, frail arms grasping me firmly. Whose arms were they?
Ch.1, no struggling. Club rules. There are no exceptions. You can't fight against a penalty.
Mion. No, that thing that looked like Mion spoke to me like how Mion would speak to me. But I was certain that this was not Mion. Someone who wasn't Mion. Someone who was just pretending to be Mion.
Need to finish this up before the magic comes.
Mion fished her into her pockets and pulled out something bizarre. I could tell what it was just by looking, but for such a thing to be in our pockets, my mind wouldn't accept it. What was that? It was a small syringe. It was a small syringe. Like what a doctor would use when you went to him when you were sick. Rena held me even tighter. And I could hear the clattering laughter that no longer sounded like laughter, blaring into my ear. That eerie laughter. It wasn't something that the Rena I knew could ever produce from her own throat. This thing that was pretending to be Rena, was this their real laugh? Unable to defend myself, the syringe Mion was holding drew closer. That needle tip was waved in front of my face countless times.
Don't worry. Don't worry. It won't hurt. It won't hurt.
Why? What are you planning on doing? What kind of sick joke is this?
What are you saying, Ch.1? You know exactly what's going on, don't you?
About what? I don't understand any of this at all.
I know. You know. No use playing the fool this late in the game.
Stop talking nonsense or to try and confuse me.
You're going to have done to you what happened to Tamatake-san.
What? Same as Tamatake-san? I didn't really understand what she meant. What did that have to do with the syringe? You're playing dumb, Kaiji-kun. You should have realized it by now. Rena whispered into my ear, laughing as if to acknowledge me. But even the way she spoke was repulsive beyond compare. Playing dumb? Me? About what? What do you mean, the same as Tamatake-san? Everyone thought at first that it was a hit and run. Except when the officer... everyone thought it was at first that it was a hit and run. Except when the officer got close to check if he was still alive. He soon noticed that it wasn't a normal situation. His throat was scratched out. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails? Nails as in fingernails? With those gorged through? That's right. Tamatake-san was clawed out of his throat. Tamatake had clawed out his own throat with his own fingernails and died. There's no way someone could die like that. So then, for that to happen, we thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected. That's right. The police didn't find any drugs in Tamatake's system. So what is that? The police told me that they didn't find any drugs in Tamatake's son's body. Two of them laughed together with that sickening laughter. Of course they'd laugh. To assume that such a medicine didn't exist just because the police didn't know about it is completely foolish. Meaning the drug that caused Tamatake-san to die in such a bizarre manner did exist. If Mion injected this into me, then that would probably be all the proof I needed. That would basically mean I'd end up the same as Tamatake-san. Become hysterical, scratched out my own throat in my last minutes, then die. Well, shit. I should have kept on writing from the last time I did this. Got hell of a lot more interesting. For such an outrageous drug to exist, for Mion to be holding it, and that I was about to be injected with it. At that moment, I did not feel there was any need whatsoever to question it. What kind of idiot, when he's trying to dodge a ball flying straight for his face, has time to think of reason as to why it's flying at him? Just give up. Alright then. Mion's actions lacked any gravitas, and that made it even more terrifying. There was none of the ceremony like when someone is sentenced to death. There was one hesitation at all. There was no hesitation at all. What the fuck? As if she were brushing her teeth, Mion reached out with one hand and grabbed onto my chest. It felt like electricity had run through the back of my head and the entire world had gone dark. Did I just stand up too fast? Or did someone hit me really hard in the back of the head? Having lost my senses of balance, and I was assaulted by a wave of dizziness. Oh boy. Oh, that's where the chapter ended? Fuck me. So clues. Oh, no, that's a midpoint. I squatted down for a bit. When when I came back to my senses, my entire room had changed drastically. Whoa. What? Did it? The numbness in my head was gone, and and slowly I could tell blood was flowing through my extremities again. How long have I been squatting here? How many minutes? Or has it been hours? It was almost as if the hands on the clock had stopped moving the entire time my eyes were closed. That's how little time passed. Really? The air in my room was filled with that madness from before. Only a dull silence. Rena wasn't there pinning my arms, and Mion wasn't there about to inject me with a needle. No way. Could it be all of it was a hallucination? There's no other presence in the room besides my own. That was the weirdest experience I'd ever had. Most certainly with Rena and Mion. I doubted my sanity for a moment, but I was also seized with some sort of comfort. I guess that terrible deal was a hallucination. Neither Rena nor Mion, they wouldn't ever do something so terrible. My head grew hot. I could tell my emotions were welling up. Why? That wasn't a reason to cry. Why? It was sorrow. Why was I sad? I don't understand. I don't understand. Kind to everyone, not discriminating against age or gender. Mion. That Mion was sprawled by the window in an unnatural pose. Blood strained her. Blood stained her deep red from her head down to her chest. The bright crimson smeared on the walls. And that splatter had undoubtedly come from Mion. She always had that bright smile and was kind to me from the day I transferred. Rena. That same Rena was slumped at my feet and was making the same pool of blood as Mion. I couldn't comprehend what had happened. Did someone come to save me? When didn't they beat these two down with this metal bat? I finally noticed the weight on my right hand. How long had it been there? It was Satoshi's metal bat. It was covered in a deep red. There was no doubt that this was the weapon used to mutilate both of them. And I was holding that weapon. I was the only person in the house. What I... Looking at this objectively, I couldn't think of anyone other than myself who could have done it. I did this That's right. Kaiichi Meibara. Of course I did it. I told myself gently, as if coaxing myself. Hey, May. There is no reason for you to remember it, nor is there a need to regret it. Eat or be eaten. You get that, don't you? But the blood, there's so much. Neither Rena nor Mion had moved an inch. It wasn't just a split forehead and a trickle of blood. Nothing like that simple. The entire room was splattered with blood, splattered red, that told me it didn't end with just 2 or 3 strikes. Were they dead? Both of them? The depths of my mind were calm, but on the surface, I was panicking and agitated. Calm down, Kaiichi Meibara. What happened to your usual calm self? Come on now. Do like you always do. Throw your head back and take a deep breath. Come on. Once, twice. Breathe deeply. Calm down. I chanted that over and over in my head and relaxed. Fuck. Color came back to my vision, and smells reinfused the air. At the same time, I remembered what happened when I blacked out. Rena and Mion had attacked me. They were about to inject me with whatever caused the same symptoms as Tamatake-san. But right before that happened, I fought back. I twisted my whole body and threw Rena as she was pinning my arms. Then I followed through with my spin and rammed my foot as hard as I could into Mion's torso. It was soft. Rena tried jumping on me, so I tackled her as hard as I could and slammed her against the wall. I didn't let that brief moment having them off balance slip by. Satoshi's bat was left carelessly by the side of my desk. Weep. Weep! At that moment, everything went pitch black. There was nothing recorded past this point in the videotape of my mind. No, that wasn't right. Oh boy, this is getting, ooh. It wasn't that there was nothing recorded. It was recorded just fine. Just the other me inside myself had told me not to look and turned off the TV. Just because the screen had gone black and I couldn't see it didn't mean that the videotape within me hadn't recorded it. The TV was just off. The video was still playing. The tape within me creaking along, playing. On the other end of the pitch black screen, that horrifying video was still playing on. They could have at least changed the background. Come on. At least. Like, the original game was like in 2009. Guys could have updated the backgrounds to more accommodating the situation, couldn't you? Oh. Compared to this, though. The scene right before my eyes, was still so difficult to take in. There was blood splattered everywhere. So, on the walls. Oh, splattered everywhere on the walls. The two of them in their unnatural poses. Not a sign of movement from them. I couldn't even tell if they were breathing. No matter what the circumstances were, my friends, these girls, I had attacked them. I may have even killed them. But if I hadn't done this, I would have been the one done for. Balancing that out on an imaginary scale, it felt odd that I had even feel bad about it. Even if it was a bit excessive. This was self-defense. Justifiable self-defense. The proof was all here. Two of them collapsed here in me and syringe. Me and syringe filled with some unknown drug would certainly solve the mystery surrounding the incident with Tamatake-san. And from the fact that both of these two were involved, they'd be able to be picked out of the criminals. They'd be able to pick out the criminals one after another. Still, I might be suspected for this, but that was just fine. Anyway, now this should be a police affair. This wouldn't fade into darkness like Rena's past incidents. As long as the police were involved, that should bring this to a close. Ooh, fuck, man. They'll probably revisit their investigation on the chain of incidents. Oishi-san would definitely get to the bottom of it. Shit. Meaning, my wish of not wanting to die, of not wanting to know the truth, that would be fulfilled in its most basic form. It was all a matter of time now. The Dr. Rena called should be getting here soon. I'll confess everything to him. I need to contact Oishi-san. At that moment, I remembered. Besides the doctor, a manager had been called. It was easy to imagine that they were someone deeply involved with the incidents, judging from Rena and Mion's conversation. The ache in my chest caused by the gruesome deed I'd done displayed rapidly. It was not over yet. This place was no longer safe. Stay calm, Kaiichi Miyabara. It's not over yet. I needed to live long enough to tell the police of this incident. At that moment, I felt like I heard someone's voice was out from outside. Since people were speaking, it must mean there was more than one person. I moved the curtains ever so so slightly and peered outside. It was a bizarre sight. 4 or 5 grown men were all gathered at the gate. They very much resembled the two men who had assaulted me at the dam site today. Those two might even be among them. Loud car. Those two might even be among them. There was one person there wearing a white coat, but he didn't look like a doctor at all. My gut told me he was in disguise, only posing as a doctor. That guy would probably ring the doorbell and get me to open the front door. Pretend to be a doctor to get me to open the door, then the rest of them would all rush in at once. At that moment, I saw a car parked behind the men, and my heart nearly skipped a beat. The white van. Oh shit, the one that tried to hit him. No mistaking it. The van that tried to run me down? The man in a white coat entered the gate and headed towards the front door. The rest of the men hid in the bushes and watched him. I probably couldn't pretend that I wasn't home. Undoubtedly, they'd just break the window and enter. I needed to get out here somehow, then use a public phone to contact Oishi-san, then meet up somewhere. First of all, I needed a weapon, then shoes. But before all of that, there was one thing that I had to do. I had no intention of dying. I'd live and reveal the truth about this nonsensical curse of Orishiro-sama. It was seeming more and more like a conspiracy than anything. But what would happen from here on, regardless of how determined I was, may bring about my demise. And that was why there was one thing more important than getting out of here right now. I need to get that clock out quickly and take down the note hidden behind it. Damn it. The tape was sticking to it fast. It'd be fine if it was a little torn. I opened up the slightly torn note and began writing another passage with a ballpoint pen. If I wasn't able to inform Oishi-san, then the only thing I could rely on was this note. I had never thought of a piece of torn college-ruled notebook paper could be this reliable before. Who knew? I had no time. I only write what I knew right now. I needed to leave some sort of information that would lead them to uncover the truth. Ren and Mion are conspirators of the perpetrators. This was an undeniable fact. I still didn't want to believe it, but it was a fact. Anyway, I'd leave all the information that would help lead them to finding the perpetrators. There are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They have a white van. This was everything I was able to see from the window. There may be more. The dog's outside my door. And also, there was that unidentifiable person known as the manager. To begin with, the term manager didn't even mesh with Himizawa at all. If they were going to include the managers from the past incidents, then the only one is the construction foreman, the victim of the first murder. The very first victim in a chain of incidents, killing and in a lynching, his body divided in 6 pieces. His right arm was never discovered. Police should have affirmed that death. But Rena and Mio did both call him manager. They said manager. They wouldn't use that term to refer to someone who was dead. The police would never even conceive that someone who was deceased could be involved. Could that be some sort of oversight? I don't know. But even if I didn't know, it could be a big hint for Oishi-san. That's right. They needed to start fresh from the first incident. It wasn't just a simple dismemberment, but the start of a string of mysterious deaths that would follow. So then, there must be something hidden here. Please reinvestigate the victim of the dismemberment incident. He's alive. Ooh. His death should have been established after the autopsy. Logically, you would think as much. But was that really the case? Could it have been some sort of ploy that they were able to deceive the police with? I shouldn't jump to conclusions, but he may still be alive. No time to ponder right now. Oh yeah, there's something even more important I need to write. Tamataki-san's death was from an unknown drug. That's right. That drug, it was an irreplaceable piece of evidence. No doubt, just by having this, everything would be uncovered. I couldn't just leave that vital clue lying on the floor. The syringe is proof. Writing that down, I stuck the syringe onto the back of the clock with plenty of tape. So it absolutely would not slip out and fall to the floor firmly, that's a whole roll of tape you just used on that. Ding dong. The bell rang. They were here. I couldn't write anymore. But even still, there was one last thing that I had to write. I have no idea why it has become like this. This may be the closest thing I have, the closest thing to the truth out of everything I wrote on the note. If you're reading this, I'm probably already dead. Though you may or may not find my body. If I was going to write out everything that could happen, either dying from the curse or being demoned away. You who are reading this, please uncover the truth. This is my only desire. With this, my last will and testament was complete. It wasn't certain that I was going to die, but was my final plea, just in case. I folded the note, stuck it back onto the back of the clock, and returned the clock back to its usual spot. I couldn't help but pray. Oishi-san, if something happens to me, I leave the rest to you. After that, I gazed down slightly at Rena and Mion. This was probably the last time I'd ever see we. This was probably the last time we'd ever see each other. Rena, Mion, I really had thought we all of us were friends. But why did it end up like this? I never had any fun in my previous school. I was worried about standardized test scores, about if the school I hoped to get into was where I really wanted to go, or a safety net. That was all I talked about. It was a dull life. People I called friends were also my rivals in studying, in competitions, in personal records, in standardized test scores. Everyone here taught me how unhealthy that lifestyle was. This month was really fun. Making a fuss over lunch, making a fuss over club, making a fuss over the festival. Something hot began dripping from my face. Uncontrollable tears. I should have had no obligation to shed tears for them. But they wouldn't stop. Even if they were after my life. Even if they were trying to kill me. Everything that happened this month, I wouldn't forget it. Or could it be those happy days were all a facade as well? Was it all a trap, maliciously orchestrated up until the day to ensnare me? Could it have been that I had just arbitrarily assumed that they were my friends? I have to turn off my phone because I'm pretty sure it might overheat if I don't. So I'm just going to turn that off. Alright, I can't see the chat. I really should get that second screen going, but that couldn't have been the case. Both Rena and Mion, they were really my friends? Those happy days, there were nothing fake or unclear about them. Someone probably forced them to try to kill me. Or their minds were taken over, possessed by a unnatural entity known as Oyashiro-sama. Regardless, both Rena and Mion, they were the best friends ever. And when they were coming after me, it wasn't on their own volition. Wait, they weren't the kind of people to sell off their friends, regardless of whether they were forced. There's no way such a thing of being possessed by Oyashiro-sama could happen in reality. Then did the real Rena and Mion come after me? What was I thinking? What a dumb, silly idea. Having beaten down both Rena and Mion, I was still debating if they were the real ones or fake ones. There was no real or fake. Only the reality that was before me. Mion, and Rena and Mion were sprawled out at my feet. That was the only truth. I was only trying trying to twist the facts to my benefit, that I had beaten my friends to death. No matter how I spun it, it wouldn't change the reality. Rena and Mion were both dead. It felt like there was a crack in the dam of strange emotions I was holding back. It felt like my calm state, which was nothing more than a bluff, had receded, and that opening in Sandy had leaked out. I killed them. I killed them. Rena and Mion. I killed them. The doorbell rang again. The unrelenting echo pulled me back into the state of composure once again. I didn't have a moment to spare. Quickly, I needed to get away. I didn't want to die. I would uncover everything after that. The identity of whoever and whatever had pushed me this far. Even if I had to drink mud and eat grass, I would survive. I would survive. I would definitely survive. I killed Rena for that reason. I also killed Mion. I went that far just to keep alive and keep living, so I can't die. For my sake, and for the sake of for the late Rena and Mion, I have to survive. I ran towards the door, grabbed my shoes. The doorbell rang again, as if to urge me on. Before the single solitary door, they were there. Keeping quiet, I headed towards the kitchen. Headed towards the back door. Before opening the back door, I put my ear to it and checked for people outside. No one? After I put on my shoes, I opened the door slowly, so as to not make a sound. There he is! Back door! The piercing voice echoed out. The voice stabbed through me, setting my hair on end. I had to run. Get out of here, Kaiichi. One after the other, I felt stuff like rationale and intelligence. Those things you use when you have time to spare spill out of me. I didn't feel any pain from the branches scratching my arms and forehead. Oh, man. I autonomously pulsing heart also felt neither fatigue nor pain. My entire being just wished to live. There was nothing else it desired. It probably had no complaints whatsoever. So, of course, I wouldn't feel fatigue. I just ran. I ran so far away, couldn't get away. Just recklessly rushing in the direction I was already heading. Even if nobody was chasing after me, I'd still be running like this. There wasn't a thought in my mind about where I was heading. Turning around, I felt the presence right next to me. That presence was without a doubt chasing me like my shadow. If I took even one misstep, I would be devoured. That's what I thought. So I didn't turn around. I didn't stop. I ran at full speed. Eka waka waka, eka waka waka waka, eka waka waka waka, eka waka waka waka, quack 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 quack. That was the sound of the chirping of the Higurashi telling me it was evening, trying to tell me something, and even then, I finally heard it. The wailing cry of the victims who didn't make it. Would I be joining them? Waka 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 waka. Only the Higurashi knew. They knew everything. They definitely knew. So I ran towards where I could hear more of the Higurashi's chirps. But the further I ran, the farther away their chirpings became. I couldn't get near them. Why are you all running away? Was it my fault? Was I the one to blame? Then I'll apologize. I'm sorry. 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 I felt that only the Higurashi knew. Ooh. Ooh. Chased by shadows. The smoking room was filled with the cloud of cigarette smoke. The expensive smoke filter gave off some crackling electronic noise, but it didn't seem like it was doing anything at all. Why do smokers have to be shoved so far down this corridor where the sun didn't even reach? I recalled hearing that the tax revenue from tobacco was about 1/10 of the municipality's revenue. We were the most heavily taxed members of this municipality, so I really wish they'd show us a little more respect. Smokers cause cancer, dude. Why would you discard 5 mandu here? This was... It, it's just decreasing your options. One of the younger detectives was having a staring contest with the Mahjong magazine called Next Turn. You're still in tenpai if you cut 5 menzu. If you're betting on heitai, then you shouldn't be. Then shouldn't you be going into it with a mangan? Kuma-chan, look at the pond. They all discarded a 5 menzu. It's a safe tile. You'd hate if at endgame someone was sitting on the tenpai on the last turn, wouldn't you? The kid let out another groan, put out his cigarette, then took out another one. I just disagree. Why don't you reduce your own options? By the way, you can't call Ron with your winning tile in that hay tie. What? Why is that? Just then, I heard a voice coming from down the hall. Are you Oishi-san? Uh, are you here, Oishi-san? You have a call from a civilian. Whoa, ain't that something? Well, see you soon. Why can't why can't you call Ron on it? Hold on for a second, Oishi-san. The man sitting in the seat Oishi-san was heading towards waved at the telephone receiver outside line from the payphone. Oh, why thank you. Sorry to keep you waiting. This is Oishi-san. Who is it? Oishi-san? Hello? If it isn't Miyabara-san, why, good evening. From the tone of Miyabara's voice, I already knew he was in a predicament. This was the first time Miyabara had phoned to me, and he was calling from a payphone. Please calm down. Did something happen? Well, his voice was erratic, covered a line. He had completely lost his senses of composure. After checking that nobody else could hear, I prompted him in a hushed tone. What happened? I... Calm down, Miyabara-san. I can have the local officers head to your location. I'll be there soon, too. I think that's impossible. My voice was quivering and hoarse. He wasn't surrounded by people even as he was making this call, was he? Miyabara-san, you're calling from a payphone right now, right? Where is that payphone? There was no other sounds besides Miyabara-kun's voice. It had to be a phone booth. I scratched out a note and thrust it at my colleague sitting across from me in his phone booth. He understood quickly and hastily, started on the internal lines. Calm down, Miyabara-san. What is your current situation? It usually wasn't a good idea to tell someone panicking to do so, but this was not a usual case. Miyabara-kun didn't just get in trouble, getting away, and then call me. He was in the midst of something dangerous right now. But yelling at Miyabara-kun right now would just needlessly cause him to be even more frantic. Miyabara-kun wasn't just calling to seek help. He was trying to tell us something more than that. And whatever that was, if I didn't get it from his call, I was certain there would never be another chance. My colleagues pushed a note in front of me. There's only one booth in Himizawa. A patrol car is on the way. 5 minutes. That's too long. How many officers are in there? 2. Not enough. If it was as I imagined, there were likely quite a few people surrounding Miyabara. 5 minutes was too long. Did you call the officer station in Himizawa? He's scheduled to be on patrol. They're currently out, and it'll be impossible to contact them. God damn. Kuma-chan, bring the car around. Understood. Hello? Oishi-san? Cough, cough. Hello? It's alright. I can hear you loud and clear. There was something wrong with Miyabara-kun. That wasn't a normal coughing sound. Vomiting? Or was it blood? Had he already been attacked? Was he injured? Miyabara-san, the police are on their way. They'll be there in a couple of minutes. So hold on somehow. Hello? Can you hear me? Miyabara-san! I could hear on the other end of the line. He was having a coughing fit. The worst possible situation popped into my head. Miyabara-san! Who is the culprit? How many are there? I thought at first the culprit was human. Heck. I can't tell if he was coughing or vomiting. Are you alright, Miyabara-san? I thought that the culprit was a person, not Orishiro's curse, up until right now. But I guess in the end... It was intense bout of coughing, then vomiting. But I guess Orishiro-sama does exist. No, he's here. Miyabara-san, please. Just please calm down. I had been thinking it was strange for a while now. It's been following me this whole time. I'd run and run and run, but it just sticks to me, like my shadow. But slowly, so slowly, it's digging into my back. Miyabara-san, are they right now, perhaps right behind you? Behind me. Right behind me. Please, Miyabara-san. I can tell you're scared. Please! Who is it that's right behind you? I can't just look behind me. If I do that, I'll understand. I understand that you're scared. But please tell me. You just need to turn around just a bit. Who is it? Who is behind you, Miyabara-san? After I said that, I could hear him vomiting intensely. What followed was a nightmare sound. Miyabara-san, it couldn't be that you're clawing out your own throat. There was no answer. But I could hear something like scratching. There was a bang as if something was being hit. Miyabara-kun that was probably Miyabara that dropped out. Fuck. Miyabara-kun had probably dropped the receiver. I could hear groaning and vomiting over on the other end, and repeating abnormal noises. Hello? Hello? Miyabara-san? Hello? I knew how far away my voice would sound on the other end, but I couldn't help but shout. At that moment, I heard whispering coming from the other end. I couldn't tell what he was saying, but from the way he was saying it, was he talking to himself? Or was he talking to someone there? Hello? Miyabara-san. Rather than whispering, it was some kind of mantra he was chanting over and over. I focused my senses trying to pick up what he was saying. What was he repeating? What exactly? Beep, beep. Suddenly the line went dead. Did he use up his time? It was because it was a payphone. It was because it cut out so abruptly. The last thing he said came out so clearly in my mind. Oishi-san. Oishi-san, the car is good to go. Oishi-san? It was... I'm sorry. Oishi-san. That's what he was repeating over and over. He said, I'm sorry. I had a gut feeling that there's no longer need to hurry. I could hear the chirping of the Higurashi spilling from outside, from the open window. Quee, 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 quee. I should have been able to hear them this entire time. I just wasn't paying any attention. Why did I focus on them all of a sudden? Quee, 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 quee. Were they trying to tell me something? Only the Higurashi knew. That's how I felt. Oh shit, so we're done. Oh, wait, no, not just yet. July 1983, in Hinazawa, a remote village in Shinobone City. Oh shit. The suspect called over his two female classmates, Rena and Mion. His house beat them to death with a metal bat. The scene of the crime was the suspect's room on the second floor of the house. The inside of the room was covered with a significant quantity of splattered blood. In addition to the struggle, it had a series of a struggle. At the entryway, the shoe rack wall had a dense impact, strong blunt force, believed to be the same metal bat as a murder weapon. No traces floor. There was a possibility the suspect overpowered the victims and keep them from fleeing. The living room, the rug had been pulled back from the struggle. The victims thus reasoned to remain unknown. The kitchen, the garbage bag was torn apart and contents were spread over the floor. Garbage strewn out and the suspect discovered. Believed that the suspect's reason the garbage stuck his fist. Reason to remain unknown. In addition, there was a note stuck in, was there a needle written on it? Behind remains unclear. Even the garage door was functional. It was left open since the suspect moved in. The garage door was found closed. Fingerprints. The suspect fled the scene of the crime. However, a patrolling officer in his office found the suspect collapsed inside a phone booth. At the time of discovery, the suspect was unconscious and in critical condition. He was rushed to a local hospital for treatment and died 24 hours later. Results of the autopsy indicated that death was due to anaphylactic shock. Determined the suspect clawed out his own throat with his fingernails, and resulting in bleeding causing his death. With this, I'm not clicking, by the way. However, due to the wishes of the local authorities, this will be a confidential investigation. Due to abnormal nature of the death, it was suspected that drugs were involved. As the case, committed an impulse. However, several counts suspects behavior led up to an incident, and it's possible that it's premeditated sparing. Several days before the incident, the suspect began carrying a metal baseball bat. Suspect observed it was saying. 2 days before the incident, the suspect declared his parents were possibility of his death due to circumstances. The police had begun an investigation into the crime. Afterwards, a note was found at the suspects from the room or in itself. The note was unrolled, concealed, stuck behind a clock on the wall. Contents are written appendix. Police believe. Wait, can I note? In case doubt credibility of the note. The crime was impulsive, premeditated, with the situation unclear and further unresolved. The case was labeled as unresolved. However, the following years, suspicion arose regarding the nature of the note. The note was not written on 2 halves of B5 paper, the separate sheets. A single. In order to erase some lines in the middle, someone had torn them out. Judging from the size of the letter, missing 2, 3 pieces of paper. Lines, a question, not the suspect. Utility, cell phone, clock, tape. Oh. Something was stuck there. Had risen. The person who first discovered the crime was Detective Higurashi. He underwent voluntary questioning and denies involvement of any damages to the note. Suspect's note. I, Kaiichi Miyabara, am in fear of my own life. I don't know why they are after me. After my life, which is curse, are conspirators, perpetrators. There are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They are half a white man. This was the first sheet entered below and been ripped out. This is the second sheet. Was ripped out. I have no idea why it's become like this. If reading this, I am probably already dead. Oh, another black body. Whoever you're reading this, please uncover the truth. That's my only desire. Kaiichi Miyabara. The end. I'm sorry I had to be kind of... I can't read fast enough for that. Scenario unlocked. All cast review session. Oh, and all play it. Selection. Extra. That. Alright. So that's done. Please uncover the truth. So there you go. That was all 12 chapters then. Holy shit. Oh, that was a long ass time. When did I start on? When did I... Nah, it doesn't tell me the days. Actually, according to this, it was 2016. So, like, December. So, this is about, like, two months doing. So, yeah, that was a long time. I'm going to take a break. Then I'm going to be coming back to, start chapter 2. Because this was only chapter 1. Chapter 2, that's probably going to be interesting. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll be right back, yo. is